Hello everyone, and welcome to my final project for Intro to Online Learning, Project Management in Business Today. This presentation is on my chosen career field, Project Management. I will be discussing many of the different aspects of project management, from its definition to what project managers do on a daily basis. Through this presentation, I will show that project management is a vital part of business in the modern world.
The management of ongoing tasks requires a different approach to the management of one-off tasks. Project management is about getting these temporary endeavours complete on time and on budget.
First, let us begin with, what is a project? The Project Management Institute, or PMI, defines a project as a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result. Some major projects throughout history include the Great Pyramid of Giza, the Hoover Dam, the Manhattan Project, and the Space Shuttle Challenger missions. All of these milestones in our past are momentary jobs with a finite goal to be accomplished in a determined amount of time with resource limitations. According to Neville Gurry in 2016, there are 4 basic stages for every project. These are initiation, planning, execution, and the closeout or transfer. If we think about it, many of us go through these basic steps prior to doing everyday tasks. During the initiation stage, we must determine the nature and scope of the project. The nature of the project is the definition of what it is. Is the project going to be the construction of a building, a remodel of the Amazon.com website, or maybe replacing a bridge on a heavily trafficked road? These are all examples of endeavors a project manager may work on. The scope of the project is its parameters, the left and right limits per se. How tall will the building be? How many graphics will be on the home page? How many lanes will the bridge be? These are all part of the scope. During the planning stage, there are many aspects of the project that must be set. The main purpose is to plan time, cost, and resources adequately to estimate the work needed, and to effectively manage risk during project execution. The time that each task, subtask, and delivery of the required resources must be planned out. The cost of every aspect must also be anticipated, so that the stakeholders in the project are not blindsided by increases in the overall cost. The project manager must also plan for the needed resources. Resources can be physical objects like wood, nails, or computer hardware, or they could be people like builders or software programmers. And finally, risk. The project manager must assess the risk of the project for each of these factors and mitigate it to the lowest level possible. During the execution stage, the actual work of creating, building, or programming occurs. This stage is also known as the monitoring and controlling stage. The project manager must monitor all of the different areas of work. Some projects have multiple phases. Projects of this magnitude require careful observation to ensure that each phase remains on schedule and on budget. The project manager must also control the variables within his or her purview to ensure that all the objectives are met. Feedback received during or after a phase must be integrated in order to correct or prevent errors to ensure the project stays within the bounds of the project management plan. Project managers must also remain flexible. A good project manager expects the worst and always has a backup plan for when things go wrong. A project manager must be able to roll with the punches and work diligently to keep the project on time and without incurring any undue financial stress. The closure or transfer stage is the final stage of the project. During this phase, work is completed on the project and it is handed over to the recipient. For a construction project such as the building of a school, the building would be handed over to the school district and the faculty of that institution. For a software development project, the software would be handed over to the part of the business that will market, sell, and distribute the program. A vital part of this stage for all projects is a review of the project. This is where the project management team receives lessons learned and collects knowledge for use on future projects. Project management methodologies, or PMMs, are different tools that project managers use to manage their projects. Different methodologies work better for different industries. Many corporations have their own proprietary methodologies that they use internally for projects within their company. For the purpose of this project, I will discuss the 4 most popular methodologies I discovered in my research. The waterfall methodology is a progressive management technique. It consists of multiple stages, with one being completed 100% prior to the next stage being started. This is where it receives its name. As you can see in the diagram, much like the water flowing down the stages, the waterfall methodology has a linear movement. A great example of how the waterfall methodology works is an automobile assembly line. Each section of that assembly line completes their portion of the assembly prior to the vehicle being moved to the next. This continues on until a fully assembled running vehicle is driven off the line and sent to the dealership. This methodology is considered to be the most effective in the manufacturing arena, where it was created. Though used in other arenas, it is not considered the best methodology, especially in the software development sector. The critical path method, or CPM, has been around for 60 years and is a time-tested methodology. It was developed by Morgan Walker of DuPont and James Kelly Jr. of Remington Rand. The purpose of CPM is to map the sequences of interrelated activities that sets the minimum amount of time required for completion. In other words, if you look at the diagram, the path in red shows the relation of activities that are tied together and are critical to the project completion. As we can see, Activity 1 is required to be completed prior to initiation of Activity 2. However, Activity 3 can be started following completion of Activity 1 and does not rely on the completion of Activity 2. Any deviation to the progress of a step in the critical path will cause delays in the completion date of the project. It appears to be most effective in construction projects, but may be used in other areas of industry. During the construction of King Saud University in Saudi Arabia, a computerized system based on CPM was used to track completion of activities by subcontractors. This was directly linked to the monthly payment of subcontractors and assisted the project managers by forcing the subcontractors to resolve issues as quickly as possible so as not to create delays in their compensation. Projects in Controlled Environments, or PRINCE, was developed by the British government. The numeral 2 came after an update to PRINCE in 1996, which added 2 guides. The first guide is for individuals who manage projects on a daily basis, and the second is for directors or sponsors of projects. PRINCE 2 is the required PMM for all commissioned projects with the British government and a standard in Europe. It was originally designed for information technology system projects and is also used in software and app design. There are 7 processes used in PRINCE 2. They are directing a project, starting up a project, introducing a project, controlling a stage, managing a stage boundary, managing product delivery, and closing a project. As we can see in the diagram, there are many levels of leadership involved in managing a project with PRINCE 2, from the corporate management to the individual team members. The term lightweight or agile methodology is used to describe a number of different methodologies, mostly used in the development of software. Modern use of agile methodologies is centered around the Manifesto for Agile Software Development, written in 2001. It was authored by 17 businesses and software leaders for the use and implementation of lightweight methodologies. The manifesto consists of 4 values and 12 principles of agile software. The authors felt that individual programmers and their interactions with management were more important than structured tools and processes. They also believed the creation of the software was more important than formal documentation. They believed that the customer's needs are more important than the finer details of the contract. This all revolves around reacting to change instead of sticking to a structured plan. This makes it extremely effective for software development and is the most popular in that field. As you can see in the diagram, this methodology has a circular flow, unlike the others we discussed, which are more linear. Project managers are multifaceted individuals that are able to lead a project from start to finish. The Project Management Institute defines them as organized, passionate, and goal-oriented individuals. Their goal is to complete the project on time and under budget. They must motivate and direct the personnel under their control to achieve that goal. Project managers must be flexible and be able to shift their focus from the big picture to minute details in order to keep a project on track. In 2006, Tom DeVincio, with the Bureau of Labor Statistics, stated that membership to the PMI had quadrupled in a 6-year period. According to PMI's 2016 report, they had over 470,000 members with over 740 certified professionals. They also estimate that there will be over 900,000 project management jobs opening over the next 4 years. Project management is not currently classified as an occupation per the Standard Occupational Classification, or SOC. This means that the BLS does not retain data on project managers. That is all about to change. According to a report from the Office of Management and Budget, the SOC Policy Committee has recommended that project manager be added to the 2018 SOC. This change reflects the increasing role project management plays across the economy and industries. Since the BLS does not retain data on project managers, the PMI has collected data from its vast membership and produced many reports on the topic. According to their 2015 report, Earning Power, the median salary for an individual in the United States working as a project manager is over $108,000 per year. Entry-level personnel with less than 3 years experience averaged over $74,000 per year. Project management provides a structured process for completion of a business's goals. It also offers numerous different methods that are structured for the use in different industries. Project management delivers business tools to integrate both internal and outside resources in order to complete a mission within the constraints defined. Through the use of methodologies like PRINCE2 and CPM, managers can schedule, track, and employ the resources under their control to ensure the project will remain on time and within budget. Project managers are singularly focused, meaning that they are not involved with the day-to-day business handled by regular managers and leaders. They are concentrated exclusively on completing the project to standard and within goals. Their overarching goal is customer satisfaction, with the customer being the business, individual, or government agency that has employed them. Project management has been used throughout history. From building pyramids of Egypt to creation of software like this one I am presenting this to you on. At its core, it is made up of countless different methodologies that are used to manage different projects. Project managers are specialized individuals that have a singular goal in mind, to complete their project on time and under budget. The field of project management is expanding, especially with the title being added to the Standard Occupational Classification. Without project management, many of the roads we drive on, schools we learn in, technology we interact with, and products we purchase would not exist. That is why project management is a vital part of business in the modern world.